templates for cutting up your stamped one sheet wonders. So if you're new to my channel and you don't know what is a stamped one sheet wonder, it's basically where you stamp your own designer series paper. So I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, so I use Stampin' Up products. I love the stamps, the inks, the cardstock, and over the last few years I have particularly enjoyed stamping my own papers, and this is what you can see in front of you. These are different ones that I've done on videos or in classes. And then a few months ago I came up with the idea for how to audition your papers so that you knew roughly where to cut them up or how to cut them up to create lovely cards. So I have various different style one sheet wonders here, and the phrase one sheet wonder is used not necessarily for creating papers, but is used for how you then cut up a whole sheet of paper in various ways that you use the whole sheet. That is kind of the phrase that is used and the technique that's been developed around the word one sheet wonder, but I make stamped one sheet wonders. So here we have a design that is kind of but pretty basic. It's the cross kind of design. And something like this, I would use a template such as something like this one. Okay, now there's two ways that you can make this template. Either you can find yourself a piece of vellum or acetate, or what else could you use? Like the plastic pockets that you put in binders. Anything like that, anything that's semi-see-through or see-through, anything of that nature. It could be recycled packaging, you know, anything that you can find. So if you're going to be using paper that is the same size as what you've stamped on, that's great. So in the UK that is A4, and we have A4 cardstock, we have A4 vellum. In the US and other places, they have the letter size, which is 8.5 by 11 inches. So use whatever you have to hand. You know, please don't think, oh, Ruth's using this, I've got to use that too. No, 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 no. You use whatever you've got in your home to make life easier for you. So the basic principle is that you get your piece of vellum or see-through, whatever it is, and you figure out where it is that you will want your template, or how you want your template to look, and you get a ruler and a Sharpie and you just draw lines. That is it. Honestly, it's really not more complicated than that. So if you're a bit ruler phobic, a super easy way to find where to draw the lines is literally to fold your vellum, especially for this design because it's literally quarters. So fold your vellum in half one way and then fold it in half the other way. So as you can see, you end up with your two folds there, and then you can draw your Sharpie on there. Now if you wanted to go an extra step and fold once into the middle again to that fold that's in the middle and do a Sharpie line there, what you will have then is also some lines to kind of figure out whether or not you like the design as a slimline card, or also to see what it looks like if you were to cut your whole sheet into 8 panels. So personally, if I was to make this template now, I would draw a line across there, down here and down here, because you can semi-ignore those ones if you want to and just use these two sections and, you know, flip it over. That's the other great thing about these templates. You can flip them over, so they don't have to be symmetrical and exactly the same all the way around. You know, do what's best for you. So let's just see if I have a pen that I could use just to quickly draw this out. You can also use the Stampin' blends because they're alcohol based and they are pretty quick at drying. So I'm just going to quickly draw that line for you so that you can see. Oh, let's just fold that up like that so I know that's absolutely straight, because it's sometimes a bit hard to see on vellum. So there you go. That's one line. Just going to fold that up, as I said, just to sort of make sure my ruler is completely straight there. I'm just going to draw that line down there. And then I'll just do this third one in this section here. And there you have it. It is as easy as that. So let's just audition this piece then. So I'm going to place my vellum here, and I want to see how it would look when it was, if it was to be cut up into quarters. And as you can see, it makes this lovely kind of corner design here and here. And if I want to see what it looks like on the other side, yep, that works there. And then if I wanted to see what it would look like in 8 pieces, I've got those sections there. So let's test this out on another design, because you might be thinking, well, it's all very well and good, it works for that one, but does it work for something else? Let's have a look and see. So take this one that I stamped on Saturday, and here you can see, yes, that would work. You could even actually have it that way, so the card would work as a portrait style card. You've got these lovely dragonflies flying off there. And then this section here, yeah, that would work. Let's have a look at the others. Here you have a really nice bit of white space going through there. And inadvertently, we've ended up with the rule of 3, you know, the triangle there. And also here with the flowers kind of focal point in the 3 triangles there, there and there. And I think that one will probably benefit from being that way up. So let's have a look to see, would this work in as a slimline? Perhaps not so much, because we've got a section here that's barely got any stamping on it. So this tells me roughly what would be the best way to cut up this piece of paper. Right, so moving on from the quarters, if I just show you what my big 12 by 12 one looks like. So the reason I do these 12 by 12s is because we do have cardstock that comes 12 by 12, and I do stamp on them sometimes, often doing this wreath design. And this just goes to show, look, if I was to cut this into roughly the 4 by 6 measurement, or if you're going to cut it down a little bit further, it's perhaps 3 1/4 by 5 1/2, or for us in the UK, it works out at about the sort of just under the 10 centimetre by 15 centimetre mark, but it's probably a little bit less than that. But anyway, it gives a really good idea of what each panel will look like once it's cut up. Now, what I sometimes do is use this 12 by 12 one and just turn it round and use it like that. It all depends what I have to hand and what I can pull out. So another optional 12 by 12 is dividing the space into 9 squares. So measuring 3 inches and 3 inches across, and then just joining everything up. This one was the 4 inch, 8 inch, and then the 6 inch halfway that way. But this is doing it so you've got equal spacings. Now, the clever thing about this sort of template, let me just turn it so that you can see the light there, is either we could make 9 square cards. So here you can see, you know, this lovely corner piece here. You've got, you know, the flower in the corner, and then you've got the flowers, you know, coming down like so. You've got the fabulous centerpiece, which is the very sought after panel, because you've got usually have a lovely sort of floral element going around the edges. But also, if you were to sort of semi-ignore this line here, here we have the size for a kind of what I call a fat slim line, or I think just someone's just mentioned the DL size, the letter size sort of envelope. So I'm just going to grab my envelope here. So in the UK, this is our DL size. And look, see, that is pretty much, you know, the size that I'm looking for. So if you just ignore that line there, you can sort of see, sorry, that's the alarm telling my daughter to go to her French lesson. If you just ignore that line there, you can then see, oh, how would that look as a DL? Now, if you're finding that your brain can't kind of ignore almost the rest of it, then just grab a couple of pieces of paper. I'm just grabbing envelopes because they're to hand, but all you've got to do is just cover up that section, and then there we go. You can kind of see what you're doing. Right, so I've covered the 12 by 12 9 piece, the 6 piece. We also have here, now I haven't used this as often, but this is kind of an extra template that I did just to have a look at what it would look like if you were to cut things down even further. So here we have 6 by 6 inch squares, but then in this panel here I've put 3 lines so that you can see if you were to cut that up into 3 sections. Here I've got a diagonal line just to kind of get an idea of if I wanted to cut it that way too. And then here is, now hold on, let me get this right. These are twinchies, so these are 2-inch squares. So if you wanted just to sort of see roughly how it would look. Now, you don't necessarily have to line it up like so. It might be that you just have a little scrap or something and you want to see, oh, if I was to cut a 2-inch square out of that section there, you know, what would it look like? So don't you know, you don't have to line it up like this. You know, you might decide, okay, well, I want to make a square card from this paper, but I want the berries to be in the middle like this. And so I just want to see how that lines up, you know, having the berries there and those all around. So, you know, there we go. So that's another option. So let me just roughly go through this with you. This is 6 by 6 inch squares. This is then divided into 9. So that's 2-inch squares there. This has got the 2-inch strips. This has just got a line from corner to corner. And then this one, I'm going to check with my ruler because I can't remember exactly what I did with this one. So that's at the 1-inch mark. I did a square, then another 1-inch mark, and then I've got a 2-inch square in the center there. So that's another option. Now, the other popular design is the more narrow slimline cards. So here I have measured out. Now, this is the one that I did measure for because this is more to do with UK sizings. These lines are 6.5 centimeters apart. For you guys in the States, it's about 2.5 inches. So I would encourage you, if there are certain size cards that you like making, have a think about what size panel you would want and you draw your own. You know, you figure out what's the best option for you. It's all it is drawing lines on some vellum or some plastic. It's basically that, and then once you've got it, you can use it again and again. So that's my slimline one. Then here I have one where I wanted to see what it would look like if I had 9 rectangles. So this is an A4 split into 9 so that I can see if I wanted to, you know, get smaller pieces. So let's just have a look at that there. So here I can see I've got rather full rectangles, but then I've got some that have got lots of white space. You know, so I may decide, okay, well, I don't want to have such a full one. I'm actually going to cut that one to that point there, so I have a standard kind of front, but then I like that section there, and then I like this here with a bit of the flower and white space, and then I just want that as a little piece on its own. So this is just a great way of kind of figuring it out before you know, cut into your, you know, stamped piece of paper, because some of these pieces can take 20 minutes, half an hour. Some of them take about an hour. So like the more detailed ones take about an hour. And, you know, you don't want to be just cutting into them and not without a kind of a little bit of a plan, because they you know, they take time and they're kind of special. So there we go. That's my little video to do with templates. You can have a bit of a play as well, creating your own type of thing. This is another one that I've done with specific measurements for the UK. And yeah, as I said, they're reusable. You know, these are the only ones I've ever done of these, and I've never thrown them away. and they come out fairly regularly. This one, before you ask, is some plastic dividers that I have for some 12 by 12 storage. So this is just a kind of clear plasticky divider. I think I must have bought them from QVC many years ago. But if you wanted just to use 12 by 12 transparent sheet, Stampin' Up actually sell that too. You can use that. So we need downloadable templates. Really, Bobby? The problem is, Bobby, if I was to create templates, if I did them for A4 UK, it wouldn't work on your American sizings. So it's better if you get yourself a piece of vellum, fold it in half, and draw the Sharpie on yourself. Honestly, it really is that easy. I know people have said to me to do templates, but all the template would do, all my downloadable would do, is to tell you how to do that bit. So I'm hoping that now I've done this, you can kind of do it yourself. I need to do American sizing too, do I? Okay, Bobby. Yeah, and the other risk I have is if you were to print them out, is that your ink perhaps wouldn't sit properly onto whatever it is that you're using, because you'd have to use a permanent ink in your printers. So I fear that it might smudge as well. So doing it this way, where you've got Sharpie and or using alcohol pens, you've got no risk of it smearing. So that's another reason actually just to do it yourself. Honestly, it really is that easy. Right, lots of love to you all, and I hope that helps. If you do have questions about templates, please do put a comment below or email me, ruthtrice@gmail.com, and I hope to see you all very soon. And if anyone's got an idea of how to make a downloadable template easier, then please let me know. But I really do think it's super easy, and it's kind of good for you to be in control of your own pen and paper and figure it out. Take care for now, guys. Bye.